If you're seeing this on or before January 18th, get ready. We're about to enter into a phase of a lot of change. There's a lot that's playing into this, so I'm going to go over a couple of the transits to look out for. First one being that we have a new moon in Capricorn that is on January 18th, and this is the final moon cycle before we get to the Aquarius eclipse that's coming up on February 17th. We also see January 18th, we have things start to process in succession into Aquarius. Venus is going to enter in there first, January 17th. Then we see the moon move into Aquarius basically right after that new moon in Capricorn that we have. The new moon in Capricorn is taking place like way late in the degrees in Capricorn. So the flip is going to be kind of immediate, and then the sun is going to go into Aquarius basically immediately after that too, but the moon goes first. Then we're going to have Mercury hop over into Aquarius, and that happens on January 20th. And then by January 23rd, we have Mars enter into Aquarius. So all of those jam-packed stuff, all the stuff we're experiencing right now as I'm filming this, that is like packed together in Capricorn, we're going to see that shift over into Aquarius with the addition of Pluto, which to have all of that jam-packed and then add the ruler of the underworld seems a little bit fried to me, to be honest. Not necessarily bad, but like, oh, whoa. The other thing that's happening after this, and this is all just FYI, leading up to the eclipse in Aquarius and like the things that are going to start to usher in change before we even get to that eclipse. So some things to, prepare your brain to witness. Then we get to January 26th. That's when Neptune moves into Aries, which is ruled by a Mars that's in Aquarius. It's about to get real weird, as if it wasn't already, okay? Because it already is, and it's going to be even more, which I don't know how to comprehend that. Don't know how to also offer any information other than looking at the transits and telling you what the energy could be like, and to pay attention to your personal prophecies and things that are coming into your world. Because here we go. Right? Okay. So that's going to be the next big movement. That's, again, January 26th. We're also going to see a lot of transitions start with battle. Neptune rules transition. Aries is about warfare. So the transitions that need to be made from that point are going to be related to battling, victory, strategy, tactic, retreat, logistics. There's a lot that's included in warfare, okay? Rest included, healing included in that. So the tools of war. Pay attention also, especially when Neptune moves into Aries and Mars is in Aquarius. Pay attention to the immediate reaction you have when something triggers you or starts or begins. Could be something that somebody said, even if you don't understand it all the way, but you feel a little off about it. Probably a good indicator that that feeling is very true. Time to trust those starter instincts, okay? We also, too, I forgot to mention this, because Pluto moves a lot slower, like way slower than most of the planets that are being ushered into Aquarius. We're going to have a lot of Pluto crossovers at the beginning of this, time, January 18th into the end of January. So just expect there to be a lot of understandings about power and contracts and inheritance and what Pluto aspect means to you. And that is kind of all the stuff to look for before we get to the end of January. Once we get into February, there's a couple other things that are going to move. Uranus retrograde going direct is one of those. That's happening on February 4th. Saturn enters Aries on February 14th. February 1st, this is another one. This one is interesting. February 1st, we're also going to have a full moon in Leo. Now, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in depth in another video at another time. However, okay, because the sun is going to be in Aquarius and Leo is ruled by the sun, we are already done. We're done. All the transition stuff from the beginning of that January 18th start date to the end of January, that full moon that's happening in Leo, now I understand. This is what the eclipse is about to do. Now I understand. There's going to be some sort of really, really large comprehension on that day, February 1st. It is going to have a lot to say. And then from there, there's going to be a lot of adjustment before we get into the eclipse energy, because kind of after that full moon, before we get to the new moon in Aquarius, there's going to be a lot of change again, but it's going to be more adjustment to kind of the chaos that's already started, and we're going to be kind of amping up into the chaos that is about to be with the new moon. So definitely take your time with it. This is not something that you want to rush through. The wind of Aquarius is the big primordial wind. And when we are looking at that from a practice perspective, or at least how I would look at that, we don't have a lot of control. It's not a lot of stuff. We can't control that necessarily. It is a lot of adaptation and adaptation stuff that's going on. And one of the things about, at least the way the spirit has been talking to me, so please discern on a personal level if this is true for you, okay? Because it might not be. All right. Preface with that. One of the things about that energy that is up and moving right now in the world, you don't want to make too many quick decisions if you don't really have to. If you don't need to, then you take your time and you think about it and you move according to what you really are grounded in. A lot of the energies right now want us up and moving and disheveled, okay? It's easier to profit from that kind of chaos and it's easier to profit from that kind of energy. There's a bunch of other reasons, okay? So discern for you on a personal level always. And just to like be so for real about the reality of what spirit is doing right now within the spirit. And like we're seeing it real time in the physical also, right? But like within the spirit of thing, the quicker the motion and the movement, if it is not necessary right now, the more unnecessary sacrifice that is happening, as horrible as that might be. So just, take care of yourself, protect yourself as necessary. Lean into your work as you know you need to, especially having Pluto in Aquarius and all this energy moving into Aquarius after January 18th and then moving up to the Aquarius eclipse, right? This is definitely going to be a time where with Pluto in Aquarius, it's about you and your will and how that relates to the influence of society. There's so many layers to that. Okay, so many of them. And because we're at the beginning of Pluto in Aquarius and we're at the beginning of that transit, it's a lot about us figuring out on an individual level, what does my will look like when I am combined and also separated from society and the different communities that I'm a part of and the different people that I surround myself with. So everyone's going to have a different relationship with that. Be, on a personal discernment level, as the third time I said it in this video, personally discern. It's going to be good for you, okay? But just to get us ready, because there's about to be a lot of change. We're already seeing it, and this is the right before. And after January 18th, we're going to start to pick it up. The things are going to pick up. The speed's going to pick up a little bit, but the energy's going to pick up a little bit. The frequency might pick up a little bit. Kind of depends on your personal world, what spirit has you working in, what you're personally walking in. So, but there is going to be a pickup. Things are going to pick up. The wind is going to pick up. So if you don't need to be moved, make sure you know where you stand, right? Okay. And if you know you need to be moved, then you move accordingly. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Take care of yourself out there, okay? Protect yourself as needed in the highest elevation. So may it be as easy for that highest elevation as it can be, too. True. Keep up the brew you need to do. I will, too. And I'll talk to you soon. Also true.